Hey guys, welcome to another episode of In the Business. I'm Juan Alanis. I'm your host today, and I am excited about the conversation we're about to listen to. We're talking to Jeff Jenkins. He's actually an influencer. Now he's a TV host for a National Geographic television show on cable TV. And I met him in passing a couple of years ago. I think it was at Social Media Week, and I think we were at a couple of events together. And we kind of stayed in touch through social media. And he's a really interesting guy, really positive, really a lot of energy that he brings. And I think I was not surprised when I learned that he had a show that was going to be airing on National Geographic. Little bit of a caveat: we were actually recording, or we thought we were recording. I thought we were recording, and we had about maybe a 5-10 minute window where we were talking, and then he was like, "Juan, are we recording?" And I had to look, and I was like, "Oh, you know what? I'm recording on my camera, but I'm not recording on this Streamyard tool." So we missed a little bit of the conversation, but I think what we captured is still a big part of the conversation that we have, and he was able to share a lot of nuggets. So I know you're going to get a lot out of this conversation, a lot out of what we discussed. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and let Jeff do the rest of the speaking about his story. And hopefully it comes out okay with, even considering the fact that we kind of missed those 5-10 minutes at the beginning. So just caveating that, but it's a great conversation. Listen, enjoy it, share it. If you have any questions afterwards, let me know. So we've been having a great conversation. Jeff's been sharing a little bit about his story, about his experience, kind of how he got to this point. And you left on a whim, and you went to this conference, and that conference really changed your life, is what you were sharing with me. And you were able to really then get into the content creator space that led you down the path where now you're on cable TV. Now you have a program. Now you're doing a lot of other projects that probably people don't even know about yet. But I want to go back to just a little bit. So before you did all that, though, you were a teacher, correct? And you did that
Yep,
for quite a long time, and
9 years. Mhm.
9 years. And that's what we were talking about that, taking that leap of faith, and kind of what it took for you to take that leap of faith.
You know what? I didn't. This didn't even dawn on me until after the fact because I almost like forgot about it.
Hmm.
Until one of my friends asked me, the same friend I'm about to mention in a second. He asked me, he was like, "Man, what was something traumatic in your life that probably took you down like a new journey?" And
Hmm.
I said, "Hmm." And I thought to myself, it was my stepfather passed. He
Hmm.
was the man that raised me. He died at 56. He might even die. Might have been 53. But I was like, yo, that's like 20 something years away. And I was like, yo, I'm still working this job.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is a job I don't even want to be at because it was like every single year I was like, I'm not. This is gonna be my last year, or
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll stay for another 2 years. Like it was that security. I was just married. I haven't even been married a whole year,
Hmm.
uh, and I was getting ready till I was like, oh, but it was like I have to do something else. And to be honest, I thought I was going to do something else. I thought I was going to get into ministry. That didn't work out. And it was my buddy, that same buddy that asked me that question earlier, is the same guy. The day I met him, his name is Roger Walker. The day I met him, we went to his housewarming party that his wife and my wife worked together,
Hmm.
and she invited her out to us out to their housewarming. So the day I meet him is the day he convinces me that hey, you should become an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
I'm an entrepreneur. And I was like, what? So he like broke down all of this stuff to me. And I was like, what? And I know I thought about it. And the reason I even thought about it was because my wife wanted to be an entrepreneur and said that she was thinking about quitting her job to become an entrepreneur like a year or so before. And I was like, I don't know about that. But him telling me that like he was the second dumbest person in his class to graduate. He graduated,
Right. Right.
but he was way down that list.
Right.
And so he's saying, brother, it's not rocket science.
Mm.
And and mind you, school just wasn't for him. He's a very intelligent man. He
Right.
knows a lot. And so for him to like break that down and show like it's demystify what entrepreneurship was, that's when I was like, yo, I want to be an entrepreneur. But guess what? I don't even know what I'm gonna be an entrepreneur in.
Hmm.
And so I decided to do what he was doing. He was doing reselling of books on Amazon. So I
Okay.
was doing the Amazon reselling the book. So where I would go in, I would go to a Goodwill or thrift store,
Mhm.
uh, and I would wait to see books come out, and then I'll scan the books to
Mhm.
find out which books were
What they were
profitable,
worth, yeah.
yeah, on Amazon,
Oh, it's a
and
whole, industry, that's a whole
it is.
industry,
Oh,
like, I've,
totally is.
I dabbled a little bit at one point where I was like, "Let me just check this out," and I had the app and everything, and I never got the scanner, to go and scan books myself, but, I did dabble, and it was fascinating 'cause I think people make a living off of that.
They do, and I was, and it was there where I took that leap of faith of becoming an entrepreneur, where I had to invest money. That's where I
Mhm.
learned how to do an LLC. That's where I learned how to create a business account and all the stuff I use now. So it helped. It was like the cost to play was very minimal,
Mhm.
almost. I think I spent maybe a couple of thousand, if that, to start, and I learned a lot of lessons in that.
Mm.
And but I remember when I was sitting there, and get out of here. I have the book right here. It's so crazy. Um, that's mine. Oh no, this ain't it. Never mind. This is not the one. I thought it was. It's not the one. But um, there is a book. I was sitting there waiting on books to come out, and there was a book there, and it was like Decoding the Secret or something like that.
Mm.
And I was reading the book, and I'm like killing the pages. I'm like, oh man, this book is amazing. This is incredible. And it got to the section or the chapter on dreams.
Mm.
I knew from what I was reading, like I was tearing this book up. Like I'm sitting there because you got to wait hours. I can spend 4 to 5 hours at a place waiting on books to come out consistently. Like that was daily.
Yeah.
Um, I would sit there and I was reading the book, and I almost was like done with the book, and I got to that chapter on dreams, and I knew how that book was going. That I was like, ooh, this chapter on dreams is probably gonna get me. It's probably gonna get me. And guess what it did? It got me.
Mm.
It, it was like you're not dreaming big, you stop dreaming,
Mm.
and you need to fix it. And
Mhm.
I was like, oh yeah, like, and so it taught me in that moment that give yourself permission to dream. Believe that it can actually happen for yourself. Romanticize what that looks like.
Right.
And then write down dreams.
Mhm.
Like write them down and then go for them. And I was like, yo, so it was in that moment that I was like, I don't think doing this book thing is what I truly want to do. I'm
Mhm.
doing this book thing out of necessity, or I'm doing this book thing because it's the easiest thing to do.
Right.
I realized, like, I was like, it's not giving me enough energy in the sense of being around people, helping people, doing something new, not being very monotonous. So
Mhm.
I was like, I need to do something else. And that's when I started dreaming. That's when I wrote down 109 things I wanted to do before I died. So it's like one in my list, I was like, go swim with sharks, which I've done with great white sharks, hang out with penguins on the beach in South Africa. I've done that. Get on a hot air balloon, did that. Go to New Zealand, did that. Like
Mm.
all these things I've done. So that's when I started this water well project with our friends in Rwanda. And while we were there building these wells in Rwanda, it was in that moment that I was asking myself, like, what do you truly want to do in life, Jeff? Like, what
Mhm.
is it that you truly want to do? And I was like, it took me 3 days to come up with this answer because I kept trying to like figure out what I was going to do. I was like, oh, you can become a doctor. You can go back to med school. Like, nah, you really don't want to do that. You're just saying
Mhm.
that because it's like a cool thing. Like, what is something that's like really out there that you never thought that you could do or even
Mhm.
should? And so it was, I gave myself that permission to dream. And 3 days later, I came up with the conclusion that I wanted to travel the world, help people, and get paid to do it.
Mhm.
Like, ain't that many people doing that, and I don't even know that many people doing it. So I was like, why not me? Why can't this be my life to be able to travel around the world and get paid to do it? And yeah, so that's what started that whole little journey of becoming a content creator.
Now, so when you went to the whale building or what you mentioned, you weren't an influencer yet. You weren't a content creator at that point. So you were
Mm-mm.
just that was your way of kind of traveling, or were you that was your way
Yeah,
of giving back and traveling at the same time?
I was doing a mission trip, and we
Mhm.
went to Rwanda to build these gardens. And
Mm.
while we were building these gardens, Me and my friends were there and was like, we came back and was like, yo, that community needs water.
Mm.
And so we was like, we should start a water well project. None of us was engineers. I didn't know how water came out of the ground. So I'm over here like, the
Figuring it
fact that
out.
we the fact that we was able to go build water wells in a whole nother country, whole
No.
nother continent, I was like, this is incredible. Like I was really drinking the juice at this point. Like, you know what? We took an idea and turned it into something.
Yeah.
So what else can I do? You
Yeah.
know? And so that's what took me down that journey.
And earlier we were talking about that tenacity, that that energy, that passion that you have, and really, you were saying that you've been in the room with top execs, and that they seem to gravitate towards you. Tell me a little bit more about that, about how that feels, and to be able to be in those rooms, and then to feel that people are relating to you at some level.
Well, one, I would also say um, it's the energy that you bring to the room too.
Hmm.
It's the smile being on the face. I wear a smile on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, one, I like smiling, but I realize when I walk into a room and I'm smiling, man, I'm lighting up that room.
Hmm. Hmm.
And people can have a bad day. And you know what? I don't feel like being in a room that's dark and stuffy. I don't want to be in that room. I want to be in a
Right.
room where it's like, hey, how y'all doing? Like, oh man, hey, how you doing, brother?
Yeah.
Like that same kind of energy because you want to be associated with a good time. You want to be associated with like, man, that guy's a good guy.
Positivity.
Or the positivity, yes.
Yeah.
Like you want to be associated with that. And it's strategic in a lot of ways. As much as I don't want to make it sound like it's like something like icky or like disingenuine, it's not. Like I'm strategically doing it because I actually just want to be comfortable
Hmm.
at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like I just want to be comfortable. I don't want to be uncomfortable. And this is one way that I bring comfort to a place that I'm at by putting on a smile, showing people. And I'm in places where a lot of people don't look like me. A
Right.
lot of people don't interact with a lot of big black guys, like so it's like, hey, um, I gotta figure out a way to make myself comfortable in a room full of people. And so it's a great feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. I love, and I was talking about this yesterday with my wife actually. I love this saying that I heard. The most interesting person is the person that's most interested. So I've learned how to become interested in people's lives and their journeys and their stories, learning about their business, how they're doing what they're doing. Like, and people like that. People like talking about themselves too.
Oh, I always say
That's
that. I say that to my
like,
wife as well. I say that people love, like, people love talking, but I think more than anything, people love people that will listen to what they have to say, because everybody has something to say. And I think often, like, we're competing just to people are competing to, like, oh, they said that, what am I going to say back? Da, da, da. So, when you don't do that, when you kind of just sit down and really listen to somebody, it's very powerful. So I love that you're sharing that.
I realize that when you stop to just listen
Hmm.
and become interested, you actually find stuff that will entertain you. Because I'm not the greatest listener,
Mm.
like compared to my wife. Oh no, she got that one.
Yeah, I don't think we
I
have
tell
that
her
gene.
it's a superpower to her.
Right, right,
Like I'm like, man, you're a good listener. I don't know how you do it.
right.
And she does it all day long with her job. But I was saying that like when you stop, listen, and become interested, you actually start having questions like, ooh, what about this? What about that? Then that becomes like it becomes like I think that's the secret to it all, like to listening
Mm.
more is being like, ooh, oh, tell me about that.
Yeah.
What happened here? And for some reason, it's like when you're listening and you get interested about some more stuff, they get more excited about like, ooh, let me tell you about it. You
Mhm.
know?
Mhm. No, I think that's true. I used to be a journalist, and that was always one of our mechanisms, I would say, to if we're interviewing, was really listening. And sometimes people don't know whether you're listening, so to go back and to pull something that from what they just said, something that they maybe just kind of mention in passing, but you go back to it and you say, tell me more about this. Let's talk more about that thing that you said. That tells them that you're really listening, that you're really hearing what they have to say. And that gets people excited, and they wanted to, when they're like, oh, okay, well, Jeff's really listened to me, let me tell him more about this, or let me know what he would probably really
Yeah.
like this. Right, he would probably really like this story that I have to share as well.
I truly do believe, and I say this one a lot now, is that I've traveled all over the world And at the end of the day, I realized that people just want to be seen.
That's
People want to be
powerful.
seen and they want to be loved.
Yeah.
And so that's it. That's at the end of the day, that's everybody's stick. It don't matter who you are. Everybody wants to be seen and they want to be loved. And if
Hmm.
they don't, they might not even want to be seen a lot. They might not want to be seen in a way that I'm like out there,
Right.
but they want to be seen in some kind of way. They want to be recognized. And so, like to be able to give people that piece, like a piece of that seenness. I don't know. I'm just making up words here. It is. It's very special. It
Yeah.
is very, very special.
And I think that's a great, not only a life lesson, but I think that's a great business lesson too, because I think, whether it's in any relationship, whether it's personal, whether it's business, that's true. That resonates, the fact that people want to be heard, people want to be seen. And, everybody at the end of the day, that's very much a human trait. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is, etc. Now, but I do want to talk a little bit about how you transitioned then, because I know that you were doing your thing, you were traveling, you were doing all these fun adventures, but then all of a sudden, we start seeing on your social that you're going to be on cable TV, that you're doing this thing collab with National Geographic, and you're doing this show. So tell me about that, the show, and then how that progression kind of happened.
It was me 3 years in, and it's during like COVID time. Like during COVID is when I just like started exploding because um, while people were home, I was still traveling. I really put on my journalism hat during
Hmm.
that time. Like nobody really had a problem with me traveling because think about it. I came from like that journalist angle where it was
Hmm.
like, hey, like I might not go to a war torn country as a civilian, but as a journalist, you'll see a journalist go out there. So I was going out there. I was showing people how they can travel safely and go to different destinations that actually was needing people to come to these places. So it was really cool, but I started getting recognized a lot more for my achievements and my work. And yeah, I got an email one day from a production company that was like, "Hey, we work with National Geographic. We're commissioned by them to produce shows,
Oh,
and we
wow.
would love to show. Yeah, we would like to make a show around you." And that lady sent that email by by like 3 hours later. I was on the phone with her. I
Wow.
was like, "Yeah, yeah, we can get on the phone today. I'll get on the phone with you now." You know, and to be honest, and I tell people this all the time, is that what the idea of the show that they had was not even something I was even interested in.
Oh, I believe you.
I
'Cause
would
I
have
see
done
that
it.
go-getter energy in you. You got that.
Yeah, I would have done it just to get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
And but you want to know something? Even when they said that, I was like, nah, let me just put my foot in the door. I was like, if I keep talking, they might want to change it and do it the thing. And they ended up changing it. And they ended up just taking what I was already doing and just
Hmm.
magnified it to the next level. And that's um, how it got started. And man, I did like multiple interviews within a week.
Mm.
Um, they had to put together like a demo and my interview thing that I'd done. And it took like 2 months to do that. And then 2 months later, they were like, hey, in a month or so, we're going to go shoot the pilot because we pitched the show idea, that Geo likes it. And now they want to pay to make 2 pilot episodes.
Oh,
And so
wow.
we ended up going to do that. And normally they don't even do that. Like I'm starting to find out there's steps to all of this. Like there's steps to the whole process of doing like a TV show. Um, it's like there's one step, then there's another step, then there's another step, then there's another step. And so yeah, like I went and shot out in Iceland and in Hawaii,
Mm.
and man, we had to put that together. It was such a great time. I learned so much about like being on camera, and I had so much anxiety going into that first episode or like shooting that first sizzle, shooting that first
Mhm.
pilot. I was like, I don't know what to do. And it was super cool because this was a lesson I did not know I needed.
Mm.
So I'm sitting at we're waiting at the airport and my producer's there with me and he's like, "Oh, Jeff, all you got to do is be yourself. That's all. What you do on the internet, like what you seen, like what we saw, like he started naming off my blog. He started naming off the YouTube videos I did. He
Uh-huh.
started naming off me and my podcast I had. He was
Uh-huh.
like, just do that.
Yeah.
Just be like that. And I was like, wait, that's it? That's all you want me to do? I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
And literally Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, yo, I'm thinking I was gonna have to be like, hello, hi everyone. My name is Jeff Jenkins, and welcome. Never say
You're
never.
like on the 5
Like
o'clock news.
I thought it had to be somebody else. And they was like, no,
Right.
no, no, no. We want you to be you. And
Yeah.
so that's a great lesson that I learned. And it was beautiful to shoot it, was tough. But we finished up and literally we had to wait after they had to like put the videos together, like edit them. And then I had to do like voiceover work. And then they gave it to Nat Geo, and that took 4 months
Mhm.
after we finished and we submitted it for them to actually come back. It was just a waiting game.
Yeah.
Will we get this show? Will we get the green light? And that whole process took a year.
Yeah, I believe it, and that's what I was gonna say when you mentioned something earlier. I was like, a lot of times you know things are left on the cutting room floor, right? I mean, they like you shoot all this stuff in TV and you do all these things, and then all of a sudden, it never airs, it never makes it to where broadcast where people can see it or online anywhere.
Yep.
So I mean, it's a long process. What was that waiting period for you? What did that feel like for you? Were you kind of already doing other things in the meantime, or was that were you just kind of on a holding pattern and thinking like, oh, crossing my fingers, hopefully the show does get picked up?
Yeah. So yeah, for me, it was I was very anxious. Like I
Hmm.
was worried. I was like, am I gonna get it? Am I not gonna get it? There was times where I was sitting up late at night, just staring at the roof, like thinking about it. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, that was a whole year long process.
Hmm.
Like get to that point. Um, and honestly, it was a waiting game. I would have been, I would have been disappointed, but I would not be as disappointed if I didn't get it because that experience by itself was a lot.
Yeah.
And I learned early that man, to even get a show, like it's a lot of pieces that have to work in your favor. And
Hmm.
to be honest, it really does. Somebody has to go to bat for you. Multiple people have to go to bat for you.
Hmm.
Energy has to be put in towards it from the company, the studios, the production studios, everybody like that. And I love how somebody said to me after the fact, man, now I get to meet like all these heroes that I grew up watching and stuff like that are the celebrities and comedians. And one comedian told me, he was like, and this was after like this is recently, it wasn't that long ago.
Hmm.
And this was before the show came out, but he was like, Jeff, do you know you getting your own show is like you winning the lotto?
Mm.
Like for you to get this show, just generally to have your own show, you not even being a celebrity beforehand, to do that, that's like winning the lotto. And not saying
Wow.
in the financial sense, but the odds of you actually getting it
Right.
is
Right.
that much. He was like, because the countless people that are pitching shows on a daily basis
Hmm.
and for it to get to that point. So there's something to that. And I was very happy that like I'm very blessed and honored to be in this place now that I do have like a show and stuff like that. But I also would say like I started learning like people started coming out to me like people who have been pitched on shows before. I got a lot of friends that have been pitched about shows
Mm.
and they haven't come to pass, you know.
Yeah.
But I do feel like in some ways I was also bringing good energy towards it.
Yeah.
Like I was coming in with this confidence and not even in an arrogant way, but
Yeah.
I was like I remember when that Geo or one of the people, the development producers asked me, it was like they was like, "Did you expect us to reach out to you? Like, are you shocked that they did it?" And I was like, "No," and I was like, "No," because I was like, every single day I read off my affirmations and my goal
Mm.
every single day,
Hmm.
and I'm like, I read those off, and one of them says, "You will have a travel show,"
Mm.
and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I have goosebumps," like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the I love, and I'm kind of going off a little bit,
No,
but
you're
I
fine.
love telling people it's good to have goals,
Hmm.
really big goals at that too, and then even share it with people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I.
Knowing like if you're committed to your goals, all right, you can tell anybody. They can even try to shut you down on it,
Oh
but
yeah.
I don't care what you say. Like I'm already committed. I'm committed to you trying to tear down my goal. I'm committed to you all the obstacles that's going to come with it, and But if you do that for some reason, when you start sharing your goals with people and they're big enough and they're awesome goals, people actually try to start helping you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They literally be like, "Oh man, I like what you. Yeah, I want to see you with the show. Let's try to get you that show."
Yeah.
I have multiple producers say that.
No, I
Hey man,
often tell people, even in business, that sometimes when you share what you're doing or what your goals are, what you're about, what you care about, people want to help. I feel like in general, as human beings, we want to help each other. So we're always, I feel like sometimes we're looking for, ways that we can help other people.
yeah.
If it's within our reach, within our realm of something, that possibilities of what we can do. I think a lot of times that people have that tendency to want to to want to give, to want to help.
Would you even say? And I'm over here asking you the question because I've never thought of this until just now. I also do think that it's a play on like other business people. Like, okay, let's just say this: like, you have a friend or a partner or somebody that's even working in your business.
Hmm.
They okay, let's just say that person tells you their goals.
Hmm.
Some ways, if it's a big enough goal and it even aligns with you, like, man, you know what? Let me help you get there.
Hmm.
And because like, and some of it could be in a even in a genuine way, but then the other thing could be even in a selfish way.
Oh yeah.
Like, hey, you know what? Like, if you are to actually get this done, this will actually help us out.
Hmm.
This will get us to the next level.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to help you out. Let's
Yeah.
get you there. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know people's reasons, but I feel like I've seen that because I also even think to myself that's why people like man, I'm like, yeah, I like that you're doing this because like if you're doing this, that means it's saying something else about us,
Yeah.
as well.
No, absolutely. I agree with you. I think that's 100% true what you just shared. And for us as a company, we do that all the time, where somebody tells us what they're looking to do and where they're a part of our team or somebody else's team. If there's a way that we can collaborate, or we can be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's figure it out. Like, at least, or if we can give you some information or connect you with somebody, let's do that. Let's make it happen. But now going to the show, tell me about the show. What's the status of your show now? And anything else that you want to share about it.
Yeah, man. So we finished. We premiered season one. The reviews have been great. The numbers we're hoping are great. I can't ever see numbers. No studio shows like streaming numbers.
Right, right. What's the
But
name of the show?
Never Say Never with Jeff Jenkins. It
Okay.
premiered July 9th
Nice.
of this year. It's an adventure travel show. I'm traveling around the world doing all these crazy adventures, like swimming with sharks in Mexico, climbing mountains in the Adirondacks in New York, sumo wrestling, doing a sumo wrestling in Japan, crossing a suspension bridge that's over a mile in the sky.
That's awesome.
Uh, yeah, so it's a really fun show. It's an inspiring show. Um, and to see the people's reactions, I wasn't actually expecting people to react to the show the way that they did in a positive way. And like how people are saying, like, wow, like I learned so much about myself. I learned so
Mm,
much and I've been motivated or I'm inspired to go travel. Like I thought I was traveling, but no, I'm not traveling.
hmm.
Or when I am traveling, am I just staying at the resort?
Yeah.
I should get out and go explore like Jeff is. And so that's been beautiful. The reception has been great. And so now we're just waiting to see a matter of when we'll get the green light to go shoot season two.
Nice. That's exciting. That's exciting. So was there one moment when you were filming, when you were shooting, when you were doing this whole production, where you were like, where it really hit you, like, wow, like I'm really doing this travel show that I that I thought about
All every day
every
almost.
day.
It felt like almost every single day. It was weird. Like I was like, man, I had a crew of 30 almost at one point, and like almost on set every day. And I was like, man, all these people are here for me. How crazy is that? Like, what is happening? Okay, everybody, here we go. Let's get in places. All right, you move, go over here. I was like, this is really happening. This is crazy. This is
Yeah.
truly crazy. But but no, and then I even thought about. I remember one time, like because it is a struggle. You got to like find ways to like motivate yourself because it was a
Mhm.
lot.
Oh
It's an
yeah.
intense show. I was sore consistently.
Mm,
I'm over here now. The way that I'm working out and like right now, our biggest thing that I'm trying to figure out is the supplements I need to help.
Mm,
in the recovery because I am getting older. I'm almost 40.
mm,
Uh, I'm over here having to find ways to like, and I'm still a big guy, so I'm still having to find ways to recover
yeah.
after
Oh, yeah.
after all of this, you know. And so, um, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so I even remember there was a point in the I was like on the second to last episode shooting
Mhm.
that it hit me that like, oh wow, wait, this still has to come out. People still have to see this,
Right.
you know, like, and then it was like, and it was in a good way because it was like you're so focused on what was happening that you didn't even think about like the perks or like the fun that you would have
Yeah.
after you finish all of this.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking about it, and that brought so much energy to me. And to be honest, man, the perks of being in the TV industry and being the host of a show, it's great. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
it's, it's great times, man. And it's not to toot my own horn here, but to be able to get that VIP experience at Disney, that was something I
Mm.
wanted ever since I was a kid.
Oh,
I
wow.
always saw
Yeah.
people because I'm from Orlando.
Okay.
My dad was a chef at Disney. I always went into Disney World.
Oh,
And
okay.
I always saw people get to skip the line. Like I didn't waited 2 hours in a line, and I just seen somebody go
Mhm.
straight up to the front.
Yeah.
Where these people came from? I don't know these people, and I was like, man, one day I want to be in that.
So you got to do that. You got to live out your
Yes,
dream. No, that's
yes. And now I've ruined my time for Disney. Now that's the only way I want to go. Like, yeah, I don't want to go to Disney if I'm going to be under that in that line.
You're like, "I'm coming to Disney, guys, give me the VIP treatment." Oh,
Yeah,
that's
man. So
hilarious.
that part's
Uh,
beautiful too.
I went to Disney when I was an adult, and I was, like, thinking that was my first time ever going, and, I grew up in Texas, and I was like, I never really went to Disney, and then when I went as an adult, I already had my son and everything, and I was like, it's gonna be for him, it's not gonna be for me." Man, I tell you, I had a
Right.
great time. I had an amazing time. I think I had a better time than he did.
Well, I believe it. I totally believe it. I knew exactly what you were going to say
Uh-huh.
uh, when you started talking. I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely because it is. It's made for everybody. Like
Yeah.
and I like you said, more adults go to Disney, and more adults have fun at Disney. Just look at all the Disney accounts that's on social media.
Oh, yeah. But I wanna, kinda now that, I know you have your time is, probably busy, so I wanna kinda start wrapping up, but, I wanted to ask you, Jeff, what does travel mean to you?
It means excitement. It means exploration. It's my somewhat escapism from like the realities of the world in some ways, but then also it's the intrigueness of the world. Like I'm excited to learn more about the world. So it's my playground, or it's the thing that gets me to be able to explore and meet new people and have a good time and enjoy myself. Um, yeah, like travel is my everything right now. Like it's what I do to live because that's how I make my money is by traveling.
Mhm.
So yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing. Like I always tell people, sometimes it's not the destination, it's the getting there that is the where I learned a lot about myself and the journey that I'm on. So I love travel.
And did you always have that bug, like, as a kid? No? Or did you
Yeah,
develop that
well,
at some point later?
kinda.
Yeah.
I wanted to travel. I wanted to get on an airplane. I used to be so upset when people got on airplanes and I couldn't. I didn't get on an airplane until I was 20.
Mhm.
So, but I loved getting in a car. I didn't mind doing road trips back in the day
Yeah.
as a kid. That's all we did. We never did like a train or a flight, but we did go to like different places around the states, mainly up the East Coast because I'm from Florida. My dad's side of the family is from New Jersey, so we always
Mm.
did that East Coast all the
Yeah.
time. But yeah, like travel, like I didn't get bit by the travel bug until I was like 20. And
Mm.
that's when I went on my first trip to Japan. First time getting on an airplane was to go to Japan. And I was bit by that travel bug so hard. I was like, I want to go everywhere. Take me everywhere.
Well, that's a good first flight. I mean, for going to Japan for your first flight ever, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
it
what's
was. It
next? What else are you working on? What else do you have coming up?
man, right now the main thing is continue to push out content, continue to
Mhm.
just grow my serve my audience that I have right now. And then just wait for the new season to start shooting so that we can start shooting that. And then like producing my own shows, producing my own documentaries and things like that as well. So we're pushing towards that, having my own production company as well.
And I know we've shared quite a few lessons, life lessons, business lessons throughout this conversation. But if I were to ask you to kind of give, now that thinking back in hindsight of everything that you've accomplished from that moment that even before you, even when you were a teacher, to now, what would be, one piece of advice that you'd want to share for people who are either business owners, or they're creating content, or they're, kind of looking to put themselves out there to take that leap of faith?
Yeah, I would say first, dream really big, like massive, audacious goals.
Mm,
And then actually, well, give yourself permission to do it and then actually do it. And then once you actually do it, or then envision yourself with it and
yeah.
then commit to it. Just commit. Like that's the one thing that people do. Like they don't commit to, and what I mean by commit, you're committing to everything. You're committing to the good and the bad that comes along with it. Like whatever goal that you have to get there, there's going to be obstacles that's going to get in your way. And so you have to commit to the obstacles that's going to get in your way. Hey, there's these obstacles are going to come my way. I'm going to have to figure out how to get over these obstacles.
Hmm.
Like you commit to that. And I love what somebody told me. I was at an event and the guy was like, "You know why all of us in here are successful? You want to know the secret?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "We're just the ones that never gave up.
Mm, yeah.
We're the ones that just kept going."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's it." He's like, "That's it." And so just don't stop. Just keep going. People underestimate how hard and how long it takes to get to your dreams or your goals. And they underestimate the obstacles that come to your way. So overestimate your obstacles. Overestimate them. Like, there's gonna be this, and all this is gonna get in my way.
Mhm.
And guess what? When they come, you won't be taken back by it. You'll be like, "Oh, I was planning on this to happen. Oh, here it is." And
Mm.
then you just move on. So that's my advice.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome advice. And where can people find you?
They can find me at Chubby Diaries on my socials. And you can also watch my show Never Say Never with Jeff Jenkins on Disney Plus and Hulu, streaming right now.
All right.
And it's a National Geographic show.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. This has been a pleasure speaking with you.
Juan, thank you so much for having me on. This has been great.
And that was Jeff Jenkins. Go watch his National Geographic show. Go watch it. He said he's on Disney Plus, on Hulu. Go follow him on social media. Great conversation. Great guy. Very inspirational. I loved everything that he had to share, and especially about just going for it, just doing it, and going after your dreams, whatever they are, whether they're personal, whether they're business, whatever those things are. I hope that you were able to gain something from this conversation. But with that, we will see you next time. And this is Juan Alanis again for In the Business podcast. Nos vemos pronto.